All right, I think it's working. I think so.
Yay!
Even though we can't read Thor Ragnarok all underneath Chris Hemsworth.
That's okay. He's more important.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
Looking all serious.
Word. All right, so what are we doing here, hun?
We're talking about Thor Ragnarok.
What's Thor Ragnarok?
It's the latest movie from Marvel Studios.
This is awesome. Shiznittle.
Woohoo!
All right. There we go. Now we can read it all. Thor
Yay!
Ragnarok. All right. So this is like what, the 42nd movie in the Marvel line of movies that came out?
It's pretty up there.
It is.
They just keep churning them out, and I keep giving them my money.
Yes, it really is that meme of, here, take my money.
It really is. I have not been disappointed in spending money on a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's...
I really have. Like, if I go... What'd you do?
I had to shimmy in my chair, and the viewers did not want to see that, so I shut off my camera for a moment.
It wasn't nearly as fun as the last time you did something.
No, well, that was a back scratch. That was serious business.
No, yeah, I have I've shelled out for most. I think we've gone to see most of the movies in the theater.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
And it's been worth it every time. I mean, some of them have had less than stellar, not less than stellar. They have had less. Words. I did use up a lot of words in the last live
sure
stream.
did.
Let's try this again.
I was like, do you want to go live and talk about Thor
let's do
right
it.
now?
I can just
Yeah,
talk
let's do it. Blah,
But yes, this one, this was good. This was good because Marvel understands comic books are funny. There's seriousness in them. They can handle serious topics just like any media out there. It's an art form, but it's also funny. These people have superpowers. This guy's a god.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's awesome. And they can still have senses of humor.
It is, and senses of humor, and yes, I definitely understand that you're taking the old easy pot shot at DC, which is a valid criticism of DC.
Yes.
But personally, this movie made me realize that there is a certain limit to the comedy that I'm willing to allow, accept, appreciate in a comic book movie, because to me, this and the two Guardians movies, while definitely good movies and I would recommend to people, and I am glad that I saw it, if not only just for Cate Blanchett in this case, the amount of comedy in them took away any part of the seriousness.
Oh, I don't think Guardians
and the risk
took away seriousness at all. In fact, I thought the second Guardians was more emotionally.
All right, that's true, and I do need to stipulate that I've
say,
only made it halfway
you haven't seen
through
the entirety of that movie.
Yeah, and I've never done that before to a Marvel movie. Only watched half of it, but I've got no interest in going back and seeing what's going on with Kurt Russell.
You really should go.
I mean, I'm going to, yes,
because it really isn't all about Kurt Russell.
Well, yeah. All right, realistically, I know that it's about our hero.
Yes.
What the hell's his name?
Star-Lord.
We're not talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. This is Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, Thor Ragnarok. They poured on the humor, and it was enough because there's like levels to humor, especially in something in a movie, in a franchise that has dealt with humor well. But in a movie with the hero who has been the comic foil, because he was the very staunch, god of thunder. He had the long blonde hair, and he was very proper, and he said these and thous and those.
Mm-hmm.
And so to kind of turn that a little bit and to make him have punchlines and try to, like, he looks like he's just relaxed, and he has relaxed. He's spent more time on Midgard, which he now calls Earth. He identifies with them a little bit more.
Well, but early on in the first movie, like before we got to know him, wasn't he like he was more this way the way that he is now anyway, like not taking anything seriously at all. Thor had to learn that seriousness before Odin would trust him with being able to
I
rule.
think it wasn't. He didn't have to learn seriousness. He had to learn humility.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like,
Okay.
he didn't take anything serious because he just thought he was better than that. And now, like, he has come around where
Yeah.
he is just, much more compassionate and empathetic, and, out. He's an Avenger. He's out for the small guy. He's, he's a protector. Those are the things he wants to do. He, didn't want the throne. He wasn't just coveting power. Like, those things.
Yeah.
He grew as a character in that way, and now he thought he'd kind of hit I think he kind of thought he hit like a cruise point of his life where, dad's at home, he's doing well, my brother died, and I'm sad about that, but he was kind of a pain in the ass, so maybe it's for the best.
Yeah.
And so...
But no one I know ever really dies.
Yeah, so this probably isn't.
Until they turn into gold dust and float away in Sweden.
So I just feel like I think he's just kind of, riding high. The Avengers got together and did two good things so far, and he's just kind of like, all right, let's...
two good things that were highly publicized. I'm sure they did like 5 or 6 other good things.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it was welcome. But like I was saying, so there's levels of comedy. If you are going for like more comedy, but you don't put enough things out there, and then some of them don't hit, and then you end up with this much comedy. They put in this much comedy. Some of it didn't hit because, some of it was just like, oh my God. But it was still up here at this level. And it was hilarious. And it just, I don't know, but it just hit me right. It hit me right for this movie to be that funny. Because the Hulk has always, like, whenever I have seen iterations of the Hulk, that's how he is. He's pompous because he's the biggest. Yeah, he's the biggest and the baddest. And, he's constantly ribbing with Thor, who thinks he's the biggest and the baddest. And so there's that sibling rivalry type thing going on. And I enjoyed it every turn. Every person they introduced that was ridiculous was hilarious. And, of course, Jeff Goldblum. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think anyone could have done that role as well as he did that role. Because that was just hilarious.
Yeah,
he does eccentric like no one else. He and like Christopher Walken do two different types of eccentric that are just... Yeah.
I'll try and find it while we're talking, but I saw someone compare and put up an image of him next to Q from Star Trek.
Yeah.
And especially with the wackadoo clothes that they...
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Both Guardians 2 and this, and like apparently we've hit that point in the cycle now where, everything old is new again, and we are in 80s revival. It's been like a year and a half where, I like 2 years ago I saw Neon Colors came back, and I was like, they weren't good the first time around, but apparently that's not how fashion history works, because the next generation gets to decide if that...
Star Trek?
No, I'm talking about in general.
Okay.
Like
Sorry,
like in the last 2 years we have been in like the 80s revival, circuit in general, fashion, movies.
Yeah, we are. Our son's gonna have a mullet soon.
No, he's not. But he did go through the Mohawk stage. And so the movies have, Stranger Things was set in the 80s. Like all of these things have come back because all of us who grew up in the 80s are now at that like peak, spending money time. So we will absorb we will consume all of these things and be like, yes, the nostalgia, it's wonderful. But the feel and the music in this one, it's just, it was just, I thought, perfectly done. The colors were outlandish. Like his outfits would just, but they were right on par with the color schemes of that time period, of that like early 80s crazy, like just came out of disco time period. That was the feeling I got. When he got back to he was trying to figure out what all these visions of his were. He had this feeling like Ragnarok was upon them, and he wanted to try and prevent it because, why wouldn't you want to prevent the end of the world? And so he goes. That's why he was down there looking for. I think Sirtis was his name with the big.
Yeah, he was
horn
trying to
crown.
get stuff, but it ended up being kind of poorly defined because a lot of that got cut from Ultron. Like Thor's scene when he goes to get the older scientist that ran around naked, whose name I can't remember now. Eric, yeah,
Something.
Van
You're
Helsing.
researching.
He got him, and they went to a cave somewhere, and went in the water and had a thing, and like that scene was super disjointed.
Yeah, and they boiled it down to him talking about needing to find the Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
And even in this movie, in Ragnarok, he says like, "Yeah, I went looking for Infinity Stones. That didn't pan out." Like that was he dropped that, and that was it. He just dropped that line of like,
Yeah.
"I was looking for him, but whatevs." And so either he just he truly gave up, or he was kind of interrupted by needing to figure out what this like Ragnarok for Asgard was kind of more important. Like the Infinity Stones, it was kind of I think a nebulous big bad, and he's like, yeah, it's probably gonna be a problem down the line, but I didn't have any success with that, and whatever.
yeah.
I mean, clearly Loki walked out of that vault with the Tesseract.
Oh, we're jumping right to the end there. The setting up the mid credit scene.
Oh my God, Stephen Strange! I totally forgot. The thing in the sidewalk starts to form around. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought we were
Around
going to
Tom's-
talk about the end
No,
there.
no. That was just.
I
me
saw a
kind of
picture
alluding.
of Benedict Cumberbatch, and I got all dreamy eyed.
Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Hiddleston in the same movie together was fantastic. I mean, Chris Hemsworth is clearly something to look at, but Tom Hiddleston is always.
He's no Luke Hemsworth.
He's all.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. We're all over the place, people. Very sorry.
There were no notes for this. We just turned the mics on.
Yeah, we really did. I was scrambling around, asking her how to spell Ragnarok. Ragnarok.
It's Ragnar, okay?
All right. So before we forget, did you notice everything about the play scene? What are you looking at now? What's happening?
I was looking at pictures. I thought you were putting something up.
No, not. This is just me talking. The play when Thor shows back up to Asgard and Loki as Odin is watching the play. Oh,
Was Thor being played by another Hemsworth?
yeah.
I thought it was Matt Damon.
Matt Damon was playing Loki.
Oh, that's right. Matt Damon was playing Loki.
Matt
and
Damon was
another-
playing Loki. I think is Luke Hemsworth, the guy that was in Westworld, the security guy
Yeah.
that was in Westworld is another Hemsworth.
That's right.
That's who was playing Thor. And did you notice who was playing Odin?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh God, I did. I noticed it. And but
One
Michael-
ping only, Vasily.
Yes.
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Michael, because we walked into the theater and there was no one because it was Monday night. Go see movies on Monday night at 10:00.
Yeah.
Nobody's going.
In South Jersey.
Nobody's going. So Michael and I walk in. There's no one there. So instead of sitting in the two seats that we bought next to each other, we sat one seat apart. So we really couldn't talk. Well,
No, good.
We had seats for our food, and then we had our own seats.
Nice.
But total, like we did have, there was a party of 3 in front of us, and I think 2 in front of them. So there was a total of like 7 or 8 of us in the theater, which when at one point when we were all guffawing sounded like more than the 7 or 8 of us because we would just
There was a
lost
lot.
our shit.
I did really enjoy the beginning setups of him on the chain and looping around. That was
And that was like they set the tone with like this will be our level of ridiculous. Not just, oh wait, I've turned around a little bit and I need to come back around once. It was twice, and then I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving.
yeah.
It was
I'm not
like,
doing this on purpose.
Oh man. Like that was like, oh, I see. This is the level of silliness we're gonna be at. I don't know. I felt like it spoke to Thor's comfort in his own body. Like he had gotten to a point where he's like, this is what I do. I'm comfortable doing that. I mean, he obviously still needed to grow because he had to make some really tough decisions in this movie. But it was, I don't know. I did like it. So when he gets back to Asgard and he shows up and Scourge is running the
Oh yeah, the Heimdall's the Bifrost.
The Bifrost.
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, Heimdall had been found guilty of something, and he ran." And I was like, "What?" And then I was
Really?
like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Loki's in charge." this this
Well,
is
but
what was happening.
oh, you
That was
saying
me.
that?
Me going, "Oh yeah." Yeah, and I think and that Scourge was Carl Urban.
Mm-mm. Yep.
Everyone was in this movie. It was like everyone wanted to be a part of this
Well, yeah. I
this
mean,
Thor
it's
movie.
cool.
When he shows up though at the palace and that play is going on, and I was like, is that Matt Damon? That's Matt Damon and Thor.
Yeah, yeah. That
That
I was
was
so happy for that because I that was the thing I mentioned that I've been spoiled for.
oh,
That
okay.
Matt Damon was in it, but I didn't know.
You didn't know how?
Yeah, I did. I didn't
That
know
was
how.
that was hilarious. And then Loki Odin is lounging and eating grapes and
Yeah.
watching this thing. I was like, what? And everyone's just cool with this. Again, major personality shift, and no one's like, this is a problem.
Ah.
No.
Well, he wasn't doing any spore jump, so it's okay.
True.
Oh God, we're crossing the streams here,
Ooh,
people.
don't do
Sorry.
that. Yeah, no, this is all good. I do like how quickly Thor cut through the subterfuge. It
Yeah,
was like, nah.
yeah.
And that was the thing. Like at the end of the last Thor movie, when Loki took over, it was like, oh gosh, what this is going to be the big thing for the next movie is him having to figure out that this is. And it was like, no, it was like 3 minutes because he totally took one look around, and went, God damn it, Loki,
What are you doing?
where's Dad? And then
What'd you do to
they
Dad?
show up on a New York City street, and it's just Shady Acres, which is a callback to every old home name.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's one specifically, and he was. I left him. He was right here.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and then the sidewalk opens up underneath them, and I was like, what the hell? Oh yeah, that's right. And then he had the card from Stephen Strange. I liked how everyone's finally getting involved, and that type of crossover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's absolutely pinnacle for Doctor Strange to be super involved for the next step. But so I can understand why Strange wanted to take Loki and secure him somewhere. But then why did he leave a card and like make Thor walk to his place? Why didn't he open up a little window there, like poke his head through and be like, "Hey, Mr. Thor there, you know that your brother's an asshole. So I have him somewhere where he's not going to do any harm. Would you mind coming through here and chit-chatting?" No, he leaves a little card on the ground.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because what you're gonna do is establish your dominance. Because that's exactly what he was doing. Like, yeah, you don't pander to the god of thunder when you want to establish that you're an all-powerful sorcerer. You want to establish that you're an all-powerful sorcerer and constantly make him jump throughout your house, spilling his beer all over himself.
Well, I just thought that he was like a piss poor magician wizard. And that's why he was doing that. He didn't have it all worked out yet.
No,
he is still new at this.
I feel like he seems to be also coming into his own.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, come on. How tough can it be to learn a couple spells?
Somehow now I've opened 3 new tabs.
Oh, no. What have you done?
I don't know. All the tabs.
You've ruined it.
All the tabs. What was I looking up?
All right. So, should we talk about like plot or something?
Yeah, I guess.
Or were we just going to babble about all the cool shit that went down?
It was so much cool stuff.
It was a lot of cool stuff. So
apparently, Odin had an older daughter.
Yes, he did.
That you apparently really so what? Because I know you mentioned how much you liked her getup.
There's just something about the imagery there and all. Yeah, just the whole package.
Even though her head was full of pointy things,
all right,
which I think is amazing.
Well, but no one know. I have a weird eye phobia about pointy things coming up my eyes. Like so much so, I can't go in those aisles at. I guess I have to update my story now to say Target, where like things are hanging on those J hooks on the walls. I get freaked out by those hooks because realistically, I know I can walk down that hallway and everything's going to be fine. But somewhere in the back of my head, what if I trip on that and one of those hooks goes right through my eye into my brain?
I think perhaps you could have just said I have a weird eye thing and left it at that.
I enjoy telling this story, and
You
every
really
time
do, because I realize that you go into the whole thing every time.
Well, hey, there's a couple stories that you tell all the time too. Anyway, all right. So shooting back onto the thing, yes, I enjoyed the visual spectacle that was Hela.
I liked when she was really gonna get like, Hela-ish. She pulled her spikes up.
Yeah, that
It's time
was
to get
cool.
busy.
It's like her version of Loki putting on his armor.
True.
But like I wasn't overly impressed with the Hela character though. Like it was.
I struggled to really connect with her motivation. Like, I mean, other than the fact that I think I guess they finally described it well enough that she was Daddy's favorite, and he used her to create his basically entire empire.
Yeah.
And then when he didn't want to be at war, and she wasn't a tool that could live in the world he'd built, basically.
Yeah, I definitely got it when I finally saw the picture of her with the hammer mirror above her head. There was that one image. I don't know if you saw it, but it looked to me that she had mirror first.
Oh, I didn't.
And then it was like, oh, she totally got thrown to the side and all. But like there were points during the battles that were going on that she was like getting run through with a sword, and it was like, yeah, that's nothing. I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah, I love how she could just create pointy things. Like that was her entire power.
Yeah,
I create
infinite
amounts of spikes and swords, and I was like, oh, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's badass and it's cool and all, but it's like pointy things.
She seemed to do a good job.
I'm not saying it's not effective, but in the level of cool, it's not lightning bolts shooting around from your eyes.
Yeah, no, I didn't find her to be the threat that she was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, she clearly was a threat, and she ran roughshod through everyone, and Thor and Loki clearly were just like, we're no match for her. She's crazy. Crazy strong. And so, like, but I don't know. She didn't feel
Loki's
threatening.
never one that's going to go and fight.
No, yeah, if he could run,
yeah,
or
come up with a plan,
or yeah. If he can do it through the back channel, he'll definitely do that. He's definitely not brute strength.
Yeah,
he's definitely the brains, not the brawn.
That's why it was good they found more brawn in this movie.
Yeah, lots of brawn. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the plot. I've said I enjoyed it like 25 times now. It was good and stuff.
So, what was there any particular thing that you? All right, how about this? Let me jump right in with a question. Oh no, you were gonna go.
Yeah, you started with a question. You started with one question. I had an answer. I enjoyed the director's name is Taika Waititi.
Oh, look at you coming up with the name. I saw the name.
Well,
no, it's just that I'm terrible at pronouncing names like Joe Smith. So a name like this gentleman's.
I try to do a decent job. He's got a pretty easy name. He's a New Zealander, which I could pinpoint directly because he was also the voice of Korg, who I loved. He was the rock dude at the Coliseum, and that was just one more. It was just every time we turned around, he was making us laugh, and it was just like, I'm trying to watch this serious comic book movie, but I can't stop laughing. And Thor shows up into that gladiator area, and he's just like, "Hi, welcome. Yeah. I'm kind of the leader here," and gives him the rundown, and he's got that great New Zealander accent. So I googled Taika Waititi, and I found this quote from him from an interview that he did with The Independent. And it says, "I don't have to be a tortured artist to be interesting. I could just be an effing weird New Zealander."
Well,
which I love.
Sounds like he's
I was like,
done and done.
Pretty much. Check. I I'd like just about every other line that Korg delivered. Okay, new Doug.
Mm.
Well, that's Doug. Oh yeah, Doug's dead. So we'll call you new Doug.
New Doug.
And like Thor runs around and goes, no, this place is it's a circle, but it's not a normal circle. It's like, who is this guy?
It's not a normal circle. It's a square.
And he even had this backstory that he just like lays out there, like I started a revolution, but I didn't print up enough pamphlets. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was.
What? I kept turning to Michael and going, what?
They don't have a Kinko's on your planet?
No. So I was forced to be here and fight. It's like, this is ridiculous, and I love every second of it.
Yeah.
Every second of it. And they're getting Bannon to come back, and he's like
Banner.
Like, Banner. Sorry. Oof. Sorry.
Oh, good Lord. That's a totally different movie.
Sorry.
Holy cow. Wow. All right. Let's just move on. Let's pretend that didn't happen.
Getting Banner to come back and he being completely disoriented because he'd been like trapped inside the Hulk for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then he's dressed like Tony Stark. Excuse me, now that I mentioned that. It's
no. Wow.
Yeah, no. Dressed like Tony Stark in this, again, 1980s. I don't remember Tony dressing like that, but cool.
Yeah, no, Tony... Didn't he dress like... Yeah.
Yeah, I guess right. I think he did in that.
Tony's Tony. Like, when he wakes up in the morning, it's like, yeah, I'll be wackadoo today.
Yeah.
All right, so want to hit into some specifics? What did you think about the coinkydink that, of course, it was someone from Asgard that found him, that found Thor when he fell onto the Jeff Goldblumia?
Yeah.
I mean, that to me that seemed a little heavy-handed, and of course it's a great super duper fighter. Oh, I can't. Valkyrie. Yeah, I was like, I know this.
Yeah, the only surviving Valkyrie.
Yeah, the only one, the last of her kind, the Highlander Kree.
Yeah. Yeah, although I feel like they implied, if they didn't state directly, that she was a very good trash picker, whatever they are.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's got all these Valkyrie skills.
Exactly. So the fact that she was monitoring whatever, or could figure out that something good had landed, even in her obviously drunken state, and then, swoop in and...
Her falling off that gangplank sideways was pretty good.
Gosh, like, that's the thing. It's like, here's this badass ship lands, and the door opens, and then she's, like, stumbling out, falls, and then as she's getting up, she puts her hand, like, into the carcass of some dead animal.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
It just doesn't stop.
All right, so there was that kind of fun. All right, the image up there on the screen right now, the Hulk flying towards Semantis or whatever, it went by already. They're set to 7 seconds.
I looked at
Who was the great big demon guy?
Sirtis, I
Sirtis.
think.
All right, Sirtis, perfect sleeper. That was in the preview of the Hulk jumping at him, going to go smash him in the face. So if you saw that preview and that part of the preview, and you saw the opening of this movie, you were like, well, all right. Of course, just about everything in Marvel movies is there for a reason. But they were making it 100% clear after that preview that, yeah, this big bad guy was going to be coming back out again at some point. It wasn't merely the way to introduce the movie and to get Thor to end up having to go back to Asgard.
Yeah, but if, like me, you're a normal viewer, you didn't remember that was a scene.
You forgot by the end. What movie am I watching?
And you didn't even remember that it was going to happen as he was flying towards it, because you were like, oh, cool, they want this guy to destroy Asgard. And then the Hulk comes flying out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, no.
Oh. But, monster. The Hulk's line.
Smash?
Smash? No? Oh.
Yeah.
Hulk angry.
I mean, Again, these
Uh-oh.
details. That was when they were in the ship, and he turns to Valkyrie and says, "You wanted to know who I was. Okay, watch this." And he falls out of that, jumps out of that ship, and lands on the Rainbow Bridge, and just like crushed. He's like, ah, and the wolf basically like sniffs him and walks on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god! Because in a past Thor movie, and in some of the less, when the comedy isn't up here, he would have jumped and we would have watched his transformation in the air, and he would have landed in a big Hulk stance. And so like that, those details, those are the things. Like by that point, it was a gut buster. I was still laughing. I was still laughing at
You didn't see that
Korg.
coming though?
No, that was the thing.
No,
like
come
I
on.
still, every one of these things. I mean,
It was either going to be he was hitting that as David Banner, Bruce Banner, which Banner? I can't remember
Steve
which
Bannon.
one's
Who knows
the
what
right
this
one.
is?
No.
Sorry.
It was either going to be that, or as the Hulk was going to come down, he was going to have missed the Rainbow Bridge and just plummet into the water and just do a big splash. And then he's just down there for the rest of the movie, or until the big fire guy comes out.
It was it was just, oh my god, I'm sorry.
All right. All right.
Oh,
So since there's lots of yawning involved, why don't we jump to the setup that they did for Avengers: Infinity War.
So, did you notice that she walked by the Infinity Gauntlet and pushed it on the floor and said "fake"?
Yes.
I was like, "Oh no!"
Oh, they thought they had this,
we thought
but
we had it.
well, but we already saw Thanos have it.
Oh, that's right. Didn't he?
In one of the other end credit scenes?
That's right.
He had it.
Why
So
were they displaying a fake one? I guess just to say.
Well, I mean,
we've got the Infinity Gauntlet. but
maybe
it's not
Odin
real.
didn't know. Maybe it was there after, like, maybe that got found when Loki was in charge, and he's not going to know such things. But they did show Loki at the end, like you said, passing by the Tesseract, and there's no way
I'm
that...
surprised he didn't like walk by it and then like back up. Like in this movie, I'm surprised he wasn't just like
yeah.
do.
But I'll bet you that they shot that scene, but the higher ups told Taki,
Oh my god,
the director's name,
Waititi.
Waititi,
Taika Waititi.
That no, you can't do that, because we got to be a little bit vague with these things, and so I think what they did with it was perfect.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
set up.
he clearly was just like, and I'll be pocketing that on the way out.
Yeah. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And
I'm surprised that wasn't the only. I'm sure it wasn't the only thing he pocketed.
Well, but I mean,
I'm sure he had like a bag of holding, and he was just like sweeping it all in. No one's gonna know. We're destroying the whole thing.
I'm surprised that Hela didn't take some of the stuff.
She was singular of purpose,
What
and
was
she
in
also
there looking
thought
for? I can't remember.
the eternal flame, because she used it to revive all
right.
of the dead guys. Yeah, and I think she also thought that she was now in control of Asgard, and that all of that shit was hers anyway.
Yeah.
And this was her vault. Well, I removed stuff from my vault. It's my vault.
It's my vault, and I have a great guard, a guard that has 2 M16s.
Her choosing personnel is much to be desired.
Well, I mean, granted, he was the only one that didn't immediately start trying to fight her.
Oh my gosh, and poor
Zachary Levi?
Poor Zachary Levi, he had no lines.
Yeah.
That was his entirety of the show.
Yeah, at least the other guy got to turn the sword.
Yeah.
And the Asian guy got to
he
got to do stuff at the end. Where the hell was Lady Sif?
Not in Asgard. Maybe
No.
she was
She's still doing that NBC show? The actress?
I have no idea.
Yeah, neither do I.
But,
Since we don't have cable anymore.
And I can't remember how she left it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If she was like,
Oh no, she went back.
going out about, or she just must have been off planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And then maybe now she'll get her own spinoff, because there's not
She'll
many
show back
Asgardians left.
she'll show back up and be bitter that he's in love with yet another person.
Wait, who's he in love with?
Oh, I think he and Valkyrie
Yeah.
had some serious eyes. Yeah.
I thought Valkyrie and Hulk were going to get it on.
No.
And then Natasha's going to have to kick Valkyrie's butt.
No.
But didn't Natasha move on? I don't know. We're getting all over the place.
What?
All right, this has been about a half hour, and we didn't really have a super purpose. We just wanted to throw a little bit of content on there, chit chat about the good old Thor Ragnarok.
Marvel, take my money, and let me tell you, you know how we're celebrating Valentine's Day?
Watching the end of Star Trek Discovery.
No. Well, after we do that,
Getting all pumped up for Black Panther.
Watching Black Panther. It comes out like around that weekend.
Really? I thought it was
February.
March.
February. It comes out somewhere right around.
Yeah, because that Black Panther looks incredible.
Let me tell you.
All right, it's way too late to dive into that stuff.
I'm not diving in, but I'm just saying, take my money.
Yeah.
They have me sewn up through 2020. Up through Infinity Wars. Just keep.
Well, yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, I'm in until they kill off Captain America in the first Avengers movie. Oops.
Spoilers.
I know. Anyway. All right, well, thank you, everyone, for checking out our little mini review and discussion of Thor Ragnarok. And we will catch you. What's the next Marvel movie it's released? Is it Black Panther?
Black Panther.
All right. Hopefully for that one, we'll have our ducks in a row and actually have better graphics for this thing. Maybe even do a little preview thing. An outline, some kind of structure. But,
cool.
this was fun.
That's fine.
All right. Thanks, everyone.